The world ended. Didn't you get the memo?
What do you suggest?
You're listening to Dead Air on 89.5 The Wave, KCFB Ferguson.
Think about something else. Puppies and kittens. Dead puppies and kittens.
That is right. We are here now for Dead Air, and I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ JazzHandss, and joining me today in the studio to talk about last Sunday's epic of Walking Dead episodes are B.A. He's back.
Yep.
And I'm more than happy to have him. And, of course, we have, right across from us, good old Paul.
Hey.
And Anna Mae.
Hey.
And we're here to talk about last Sunday's epic Walking Dead episode. Now, spoilers, there will be spoilers. Warning, there will be spoilers. So,
spoiler alert, we're going to spoil things.
Yeah. So let's talk about the episode that was titled "Always Accountable," which I think that was more than appropriate for this episode. And let's kind of dive right in. So I think that one of the big questions, and this is for everybody, that everybody really wants to know and everybody wants answered or is speculating at least, who do we think's on the radio?
So we're starting with the end of the episode.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
we're going to start from the end and work our way back.
It's not necessarily working its way back. I think a lot of people want to kind of talk about it and see who's on, and it's one of the bigger questions that people kind of have on their minds.
I think if we weren't going through the whole Glenn thing, it would still be a big cliffhanger, but we wouldn't be as eager to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people who think it's Glenn.
Totally agree.
And I'm kind of torn between thinking, we had this conversation earlier, between it being, is it Glenn or is it this other character they haven't introduced yet? And I'm kind of torn. I want to say it's Glenn just because they're going out of their way to say it wasn't. I can't trust these people anymore until they give me some answers. So I'm leaning towards, maybe it is Glenn, but I think it's maybe a character we haven't been introduced to yet.
Reedus actually, Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl Dixon, has said, oh, no, it's not Glenn, which... Okay, yeah, you've already done so many false flags that, I'm almost betting it's Glenn or someone with Glenn. The other one that a lot of people have said is it's the guy who stole the motorcycle, which I think we're going to get into who that is.
Yeah, for me, I think it is. I mean, it's definitely one of two things. One is, I think, if next episode, if my predictions might be right, Alexandria might fall to the Mega Horde, and it's going to be the end of that episode. Rick or somebody has the walkie-talkie. Thank you. Has the walkie-talkie and says we need help, and that's where that episode's going to end. So it's like those two episodes then, their two stories come in together for the season finale or mid-season finale.
I don't think. I know you just said it's your prediction. It's all speculative, but I don't think Alexandria is going to fall for a while. I don't think, and especially I don't think it's going to happen. If it does happen, I don't see it happening before the mid finale. I see it happening later because I think there are other things in play that are going to are going to cause. If Alexandria falls, it's going to be because of other things, and we're not going to get to it right away. I would like the idea of them actually having a place longer than they had the prison, longer than they had any other, safe haven.
Yeah.
I would like for them to have Alexandria a little bit longer. That way we get a little more comfortable and a little bit more... Before we rush back into the outside world, let's say safe for a little bit longer, because then it makes the loss of this safe haven, that much... I think it's going to be some time.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I can understand that, but I'm also wondering, too, if they're going to go in and it's going to be that they might lose it, but then this is going to be the one home, the one place that they actually try to fight back for.
I personally, I don't think they're going to do it, and the main reason for that is the comics. The comics, Alexandria stays. The walls do come down some. Hordes get in, but they manage to take it back. I don't think Alexandria is going to fall. I think there may be some breaches, but I think they're going to deal with what they need to, because Alexandria being a viable town is a huge part of the storyline that you are just itching to talk about because they finally cast the guy who's going to play
Yep, and we're
the one that you have been talking about since, what, season 4?
Yep. And we're going to get into all that stuff a little bit later.
Yeah. Going off of what Paul said about the walls breach, I mean, we already saw a bit of it, not this past episode, but the episode before that. I can't remember the title. But seeing the blood dripping from the walls, which I found to be, people like, oh, well, that's not a big deal. They're like they said, I'm talking to, the walkers are just pushing up against the wall. Yes, but that's also steel. That's also could cause, with the iron in the blood, that could cause the walls to start to deteriorate.
Well, not necessarily that, but that means that there's some small hole in the wall, or they've found a seam that they've popped.
Yeah.
So once a seam starts to pop, it's just a matter of time before it, unless you go through and fix it immediately, it's just a matter of time before it gives. They can reinforce it, and I think that's what's going to end up happening. But there's too much that relies on them being Alexandria and having that as an established safe area and a home base going forward. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to fall. I think it may get... It's already taken a kick in the twig and berries. I think it may take another kick or two there, but I don't think it's going to fall.
Yeah, and so kind of now, kind of like retracking a little bit, or backtracking a little bit, if let's say that the person who is on the radio, because I think that's really good. I don't think that the walls might fall anytime soon, but again, we never really know. So,
right.
The person who could be on the radio, I mean, a lot of people do still think it's Glenn, or at least somebody that found Glenn. And I mean, we've talked a lot about the possibilities. I mean, if it is Glenn, like, what do you think the characters are going to do, or what do you think where do you think the story is going to go from there?
That's a tough one, because I mean, well, Rick has a walkie-talkie, so if he hears it and he can identify that it's Glenn's voice, I don't know if he's going to go to Maggie, because I don't think Aaron has said anything to anyone else about Maggie being, little preggers.
That we know of.
That we know of.
He had to have told Eric.
Well, he told him.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Anyone outside of that.
You can't keep that kind of thing from your boyfriend.
No.
Come on.
Maggie and him are now, like, best friends.
Oh, yeah, they're BFFs.
Yeah,
so they're...
so cute.
Of course he's going to tell, like,
his boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
But, I mean, if it's Rick, I think he may... Because Rick's aware that they've pretty much decided Glenn's dead. And so if he's like...
I don't think he's pretty much decided, because he said that he's waiting for Glenn. In the episode before this last one, he told Jesse, upright, that he was waiting for Glenn. He was kind of waiting to see if they got confirmation or not. So I think he's still in the dark with the rest of us.
You think?
Yeah.
I think Rick is in the camp with the fans going, no, he's still alive. He's still alive.
Yeah.
And Maggie kind of had that moment where she was like, no, he's dead. He's dead. Like, you remember when they're in the sewer? What was that, last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been up here. I can't remember because I haven't had the conversation. Yeah. She kind of had this speech where she was kind of saying, we may never know.
Yeah.
Right. We don't.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
she's
get to
in the
know.
camp of maybe he's probably dead. Rick is the character who's like, nope, he's still alive. I'm waiting for him and all of them to come back.
Yeah.
I like how Chris Hardwick on Talking Dead referred to it as Schrodinger's Glenn.
Yeah.
He is both
yes.
alive and dead until we observe him.
Yeah, we don't know. And there's... Everybody's kind of throwing around possible stories about, poor Glenn.
I'm still, as much as I hate to say it, I'm still in the Glenn's still alive camp.
I want to be. I want to be, but you never know. He could very well.
I keep saying, the only bad thing is Nicotero and Gimple like to reverse psychology on people. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to throw these clues out that he's dead, and one that he's alive. Yeah. And then a couple more that he's dead, and then one that he's alive. And so you don't know what to believe. They are excellent BS artists.
Yeah, and so now then there's one other person that I think I have in mind. I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Paul. That it could be the nameless guy that stole the motorcycle from not Abraham. Well, he could ride motorcycles too.
Yeah,
Daryl.
Abraham can.
Daryl, and I could see that being kind of a possibility too. And I'm wondering, and this is going to tie into the next little question that I have for you guys, if those two people who stole Daryl's bike ran into the mystery people, and this is where the new, if it's a new group, because this is, I'm just gonna get right in. What do you guys think about the group? Like, do you think it's like the Wolves? Do you think it's an entirely new group?
Okay.
Like,
I think
what's going on?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's one other possibility that I don't think you've mentioned about who's on the walkie-talkie.
Oh.
Because if you remember, the group that was chasing the ones that stole the motorcycle, and I'm not going to name names yet because you're getting to that, but
Yeah.
They said something about change the frequencies on the walkie-talkies.
Did they?
Yes,
they
at some
did?
point, at one point in the episode, they're like, "We need to change the frequencies," and I'm wondering if they realized that there was traffic going over the walkie-talkies because they kept hearing Daryl, "Glenn, Rick, somebody, can you hear me?" That maybe they tried changing the frequencies on their own walkie-talkies, and that group is now trying to set a trap. Help, help, because they figure whoever hears it's going to try and find out, well, where are you? We're here. We need help. And then they can do an ambush because that's how they started the episode, was an ambush.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's where it leads me to believe that this group is not the Wolves. This group is the Saviors.
Something else.
Saviors, something worse, something bad. Because the
Much
Wolves,
worse.
the Wolves seem to definitely be surprise attack, whereas this new group, to me at least, seemed a lot more uniformed, a lot more. They knew what they were doing, especially when the guy got bit and they just cut off his arm.
Yeah.
Like, they knew what was going on.
Because with the whole, is it the Wolves, is it something else? I think it's something totally different because the Wolves don't seem very organized in terms of, hey, let's get a truck. Let's do this, let's do that. It's very much we're going to storm, the community, and we're just going to take it over. Yeah. And we'll send several people, and if they don't make it back, they don't make it back. We'll just send the pawns for it. They don't seem like the most organized, well put together group.
No.
Yeah. Unlike this group that seems very much organized.
Yeah, going with the differences between this new group and the Wolves, at least their organization. The Wolves are organized, but it's with their surprise attack. They literally are like animals. They think logically. They think in packs. They think we're going to attack, we're going to sneak attack, we're going to take them over. This new group is thinking more like our group, like Rick's group. They're, they've already got stuff set up. They have different, they've got people out. They've got people maybe scavenging, maybe doing who knows what. But they're a lot more organized, and they did hide Patty. At least somebody did in the bushes, which we'll get to that, I'm sure, in a little bit, JazzHandss.
Yeah. And the fact that they planned out, they saw the group approaching and planned out an ambush for Abraham, Sasha, and Daryl.
The Wolves wouldn't have done that.
See, that's where I don't know if it was an ambush for them. I'm wondering if it was an ambush for, because this is what I'm wondering if it was an ambush for the other group that ran.
Let's
Daryl
just call him Dwight and whatever her name is.
Thank you, because I could have swore they used the name Dwight. Like
I don't think they ever said Dwight. I don't think they ever used his name.
Maybe it's me knowing too much.
But the one girl was Tina.
But I could have swore she said his name. I could have swore she said Dwight. But I think that's what the trap was for. The trap wasn't for Abraham, Sasha, and Daryl.
Yeah.
It was for the other people, and they just happened to be there. And they're like, you know what? They got a motorcycle.
They had a motorcycle and a car. Let's kill them.
I feel that this new group is somewhat like the Wolves, where they're opportunists, but they're still more organized. And it seems like, from what we can gather from Wade, the leader Wade, that we speculate the leader, running into him. It seems that they're very much opportunist, and from if this other group that we're calling this guy Dwight, if Dwight and Tina's group stole Patty from them, then they just think it's a car, and it's like, oh hey, it's not them, but let's get these guys anyway because who knows?
It's stuff. We need stuff.
Yeah. Well, now here's one of the other things, and I found this on the SpoilingDeadFans.com. Somebody had posted about who was the person that was chasing the group that ended up stealing Daryl's bike. And they said the name was definitely Wade, And they're like, oh, cool, yeah, but they only showed him from, like, the waist down. Is it because they haven't cast him yet? And somebody said, no, they don't think so. They think it's because Wade has already been branded. And that would have given away way too much to people who read the comics. Because Wade got the iron to the face, much like Dwight in the comics gets at a later point. So that would have really, really cemented, yes, Negan is,
You said it.
and these are the saviors, and we're not playing the drinking game.
No, not yet. Not yet. We're going to
Not
one
yet.
day. Because there was a line that Wade actually said, and I wanted to see if anybody else caught it, where one of the men, because we still don't know the group yet, so it's all speculation, but one of the guys said, well, should we go after them after I think Daryl and them kind of lost them or anything?
Yeah.
And Wade said, no. He only wants asses that's willing.
Yeah,
He only wants asses that are willing.
yeah.
So to me, that's either, and I mean, it seems like tying up loose ends to where you either work for him, you're willing to work for him, or you're going to die. Mm-hmm. And that him, I think we all kind of can speculate
Or
whom
just say
that
the
is.
name.
It's Negan. Like,
Let's just talk about the casting real quick since we're on the subject.
yeah.
Sounds
Let's quit
good.
beating around the bush. We know we want to talk about it, so let's talk
yeah,
about it.
Yeah, the casting of, because we kind of talked about it last week, because this information dropped last week. But
There was a lot of information. There was talk that it was going to be Derek Gillihunt from Raising Hope. He did some stuff on Justified.
Yeah.
He was on Deadwood, I think. And he would have been a great choice. You know, he's a really good actor. If you haven't seen his stuff on Justified, you would make you go, okay, well, maybe he could be Negan. But the choice they went with, I think, is much better because I'm a fan of this guy. So
yeah.
I think he'll be great.
What's his name again? I'm horrible with
Jeffrey
names.
Dean Morgan.
Yeah.
Jeffrey D. Morgan. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's pretty much been like official now, and that's been kind of like the latest news that's been surfing around the internet.
Papa Winchester.
Yep.
He's the comedian.
Yep.
Yep.
He's been in almost everything.
He was in The Losers. He didn't die in The Losers. I just thought
There's
about
a
that.
movie he didn't die in. Yeah.
He didn't die in The Losers.
That's the real drinking game. Whenever stuff he doesn't die in within like the first 2-3 seasons or something, you take a shot. He's
Well, I mean,
he's
let's
good.
face it. In Watchmen, the movie started with him dying.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, you can't get much more Jeffrey Dean Morgan than Watchmen.
Yeah, but I mean, especially since he is going to be playing Negan,
He's going to be around for a while.
He's going to be around for a while, and I'm more than excited to see.
You figure what? They took
Yeah.
2 seasons to kill the governor.
Well, 1.5. Season 3, and then the end of season 4 was the season 3 finale that everybody considers.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, so 1.5. But it's going to be nice, like for me at least, because I've been wanting a kind of big, stable bad guy. I know that this world doesn't need bad guys all the time, but they've been introducing these little groups like the wolves, the people at the hospital, other certain kind of pockets of people, which isn't bad. It shows that there's more survivors out there.
So the Claimers, the Terminites.
But it's going to be nice to actually get a bad guy that's here that can slowly build and have kind of character development with these other characters, and that you can grow to hate and love.
Because go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Because the thing about having like a human villain like the governor, having the people of Terminus, versus having the walkers, like the walkers is going to be a constant thing.
Yeah.
You run the risk of like, okay, well, they're going to go get food and they're going to run into walkers. But now, like, the idea of there be like, we've seen it before, the idea that people are just as, if not more dangerous, like seeing all the groups pop up, seeing how they all handle this world differently has been one of the more interesting things about the show, and it keeps it fresh. That's why a show like this can go, what, they're talking 12 seasons.
Yeah.
Versus like a show where if they just did zombies as the main focus, you're not going to get as much mileage out of it. And it's such a well written, put together show that they're not going to just go, hey, we're just going to come up with a person. Like, they have the source material, and with like Negan being the big bad,
Yeah.
Yep.
and the fact that he's been cast, we know it's coming. And like
It's coming.
He's looming ominously in the background.
Yeah.
Like, his shadow has been cast over, and like we're just waiting. And I think that's going to be the worst part of it. Like, it's going to be a great thing, but a bad thing, because now we're like, oh no, Negan's coming. Like,
yeah, every episode you kind of get that little chill on the back, like, of your spine. Like, is this going to be the episode where all of a sudden he shows up?
No. That's not going to happen until the second half of the season. But
yeah,
one of the things I like about the possibility of Negan coming is we get a long-standing bad guy. We have not had that since the Governor. True. Because, I mean, let's face it, the Terminites were 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. The Wolves, they built up. They had the 1 episode with Morgan where, they took his stuff. They had the episode or tried to take his stuff. Morgan went all Donatello on him.
Of course he would.
They had the Aaron and Daryl, and then they had the raid on Alexandria, and then trying to get a hold of Rick in the RV, which we still have no clue how Rick got out of it, other than just, I'm Rick Grimes, and, and that's all it takes.
He just walked out of the RV with the script. I am the main character. I cannot die yet.
I have death immunity.
Back up. I'm the main character.
You cannot bite me.
Main character syndrome. Main character syndrome.
Yeah.
But,
device.
all of those, I was really, really hoping for the Terminites to be at least a 4 or 5 episode, half season thing. They got out of Terminus pretty much the day they got in.
Yeah.
And then, 2 days later, they killed the rest of them when they came to try and ambush them in the church?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, boom, gone. Wolves. Built up to it, boom,
The Wolves
gone.
are still there, though. Sorry. Sorry, baby.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, we still have the one threat with the guy, with Morgan's, whatever that... the story's name, the one wolf in the basement.
I know. Carol's gonna sneak in and pop him in the head.
I still don't think we're done with the Wolves.
Thank you.
I still think there's more.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if there's more or not, because, I mean, how are they going to interact with the Wolves and the possibility of the Saviors? Because Daryl pretty much invited Dwight and what's her name?
Who knows? Who cares?
And Tina back to Alexandria and told them, look, we've got a place, we've got civilization. And if he is Dwight, and I'm pretty sure he is, and that information makes it back to Negan, the Saviors are going to come knocking.
Yeah, but because I want to kind of piggyback off of something that I think you said, Paul, where it was how you said that there's been build up to the Terminites, there's been build up to the Wolves. How actually appropriate is it that there's been build up to these smaller groups, but then the one big main bad group that we've been waiting for has no build up and just shows up and devastates everything?
That's how life works sometimes.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing about the show that's great, and it's one of those talk about all the build up.
It's infuriating.
Sometimes it just stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's like Terminus and dealing with the Terminites. It's just boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
That's how this world works. Like 1 second you're here, then you're gone.
Like Bob's leg.
Or Beth.
Or
Beth.
Or maybe
I'm getting out of
Glenn.
here. Boom, you're dead. Like sometimes it just happens. Sometimes there is no build. Sometimes it's just like, oh, by the way, we got like an hour. The Saviors are on their way. We don't know. There's still so many things that could happen because this world's so unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have this group that just shows up out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, now we're aware of this group. Maybe there's a build from here, and the idea of the looming threat of Negan, another group, whatever the case may be, the looming threat that's going to play on us as the audience, but it's going to build, and it's going to build, or it's just going to be, hey, it's happening now, deal with it, because that's what the world is. That's how it works.
Yeah, we're gonna get hard, and it's either gonna be like you said, build, or we're gonna get hit hard. And it's going to cripple us. I really think that's going to happen. But we're going to be taking a quick break here from Dead Air, and we're going to be back to talk more about Last Sunday's Walking Dead, because there's still so much to go over. I think we got the 2 big ones out of the way.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, no. One more big one left.
One more big one left.
What's Abraham going to do with that rocket launcher?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome thing.
And we'll be
Fun, awesome things.
And we'll be getting into that right after the break here on 89.5 The Wave.
I gotta go, Bat. I gotta go.
Stay tuned for more Dead Air on 89.5 The Wave with Jazz Hands.
That is right, we're back to Dead Air here on 89.5 The Wave, and I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ, and I am joined with the... Ooh, that was way too loud. Turn that mic up way too loud. And I am joined here with B.A., Paul, and Anime, and we're here talking about last Sunday's epic Walking Dead episode. So, we talked a little bit about who could be on the radio, and who we think this new group is. So,
Saviors.
yeah, totally.
Totally. Gotta be. Negan.
Yeah, it's totally Negan.
Negan. Totally Negan.
But, okay, so now let's kind of get into some of the other kind of main characters, especially Abraham.
Abraham was big this episode.
Yeah. I think this was like one of the bigger episodes with him in it. Like, that's not saying that like the previous episodes that have had him in it, like, didn't really like utilize him well, but like this is what I really think like the first episode where I can at least really he had like an abundance of screen time.
We got a lot more character development on him in this episode.
I think this is the most screen time and character development he's gotten since they did the episode where they showed how he ended up meeting Eugene.
Yeah,
I was going to say since he beat the snot out of Eugene.
Yeah.
But yeah, same difference.
was it the same episode?
I think it was, yeah.
Same episode.
Yeah. So, but he just seems like he's going through a roller coaster of emotions, and I mean,
It was, to me, it was funny because they showed a very, very stark parallel to Abraham's decision to live or between Abraham's decision to live and Sasha's decision to live.
Yeah.
Because Sasha made the decision when she was confronted with, remember when she laid down in that pit full of the dead walkers?
yeah,
It was just kind of laying there with them, and after that she seemed like she was kind of back.
yeah,
I think Abraham's moment was when the
screamed.
soldier was sitting there hung or suspended by being impaled on the piece of fencing, and he just screamed at him.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's strange because it didn't seem like throughout the rest of the season that he was really, I mean, going through those kind of emotions that Sasha was.
Yeah, because at the very beginning when he was burying Pete and he saw the wedding ring and he did all that, he was drinking pretty heavily and
Yeah.
being reckless when he got out when the walkers started veering off path, and he was like, "Hang on, I'll be back," and he said, "Oh, this is I'm alive." I think that was kind of him BSing himself.
Yeah.
That, because I think he fully leapt out of the car thinking, you know what, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to die trying. Either way, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I really think this, when he met that soldier face to face, that was like him looking into a mirror and saying, this is what's going to happen if you don't get it together.
Like you were saying with him and Sasha, like they have that that mirroring. Not like they kind of had similar freakouts.
Yeah.
About she came to hers very peacefully. He screamed, but they essentially went through the same thing, and that's this little connection that they had, where we're all like, "Wait, what's going on here? What are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
No.
There was that moment where he was, where he's drinking and he's having just buried Pete. He kind of throws like a hand, like gestures towards her. Like, I didn't think that was going to lead to, Abraham essentially saying, "Hey, let's get together."
Yeah, that was out of left field, out
So,
of nowhere.
When that
What you
happened,
doing
I'm
tonight?
sitting.
We got four walls and there's a lot of flat spaces here, Sasha. We could, well, anyway.
When that happened, I was just like, "Wait,
What?
are you,
Yeah.
dude? That is not cool." But when you were saying he saw the soldier impaled on the fence, he also saw the picture of the guy who I guess owned that building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whose army, the dress attire that was. He saw that, and then he went out and he saw another soldier impaled, dead, just suspended in the air by a piece of fence. And I think that played into it too, because if he wouldn't have seen I don't know what would have happened if he hadn't had seen the picture of that soldier with his family.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're the same, the same person. But
I think so.
And one of the things and I'm on the spoilingdeadfans.com.
Okay.
One of the things that they pointed out was they looked at the medals that were on that dress uniform, and those are all airborne medals. And the guy that was suspended from the fence, if you look at the shoulder patch, he had an airborne patch. So that was probably him.
Yeah.
That was impaled on the fence with the neat boomy toy that got left behind when his rotting corpse fell. And
Abraham's having okay, it's Christmas for Abraham right
it
now.
was definitely
He's
cigars,
contemplating getting a new girl. He's
cigars, rocket launcher. It was like
Launchers.
Santa came.
There was 4 of them.
No, there was 4 rockets, 1 launcher.
That honestly,
That's
though,
gonna be fun.
And in The Walking Dead, I think even if I was at that point of all of a sudden, the world just gives you a rocket launcher and cigars and stuff, I think I'd be okay too after that.
Day.
I think
okay.
that would be enough to make me go back to Sasha and go, you know what? I've been given so many wonderful gifts today. What do you think about one more, huh? Come on.
I would just be walking around with a rocket launcher. I need a place to sleep. I need a place to chill. I need food. And just I would use, even if I didn't know exactly how to use a rocket launcher, I'd just be pointing it at people.
It would work for me if I see somebody come up to me with a rocket launcher, even if I had more guns.
Give me food.
Okay.
You know what? Sure, here you go. Have a cheeseburger, man. Come on. Just don't shoot that at me.
But it is really weird that so quickly, and the one thing, I don't know if I'm having a problem with it or not, but I want to know, when did Sasha kind of become okay? Because it seemed like she was spiraling down really, really, really bad, and then all of a sudden she was just fine.
It's after she has that freak out in the woods when her, Michonne, and Rosita are killing all the walkers.
Girl time,
she goes to talk.
Yeah.
She goes to talk with Gabriel, and then they have that little fight, and then Maggie shows up, and then they're shown all holding hands. In the time, probably very brief time in between that last episode of season 5 and season 6, she could have been doing some work mentally with
That's true.
She was pulled back a little bit, and now she's at a point where she's just you know what, I'm good.
I
I'm
agree.
Back. I'm good. Because just because we don't see it happen doesn't mean
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And
it doesn't happen.
I
And
agree.
it's just-
I think her little talk with Gabriel and that little fight that they had, I think that set things straight with Sasha, that she was like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. No, I am the good person. I am. I'm okay. This is me. This is the way I'm supposed to be, and I'm fine.
And I also think this episode was the reveal of her being good. When they're getting ready to go on the mission to lead the walkers out, Abraham asks are you doing this because you want to die or whatever? And she's just no, I'm good. We saw that, and then this is the kind of full reveal of her being I'm good.
Yeah.
This is us kind of getting, because we were talking earlier, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead because I don't know where you're wanting to go, but this whole season up to this point, you've had various points where each character kind of you get to see them either change their motivation or their thought process and their code becomes more clear. We see it with Daryl and the people who are going to be very sorry if they ever see him again. Daryl had that arc in season 5 when they got to Terminus. He's not Terminus, Alexandria, where he's just man, I'm ready for stuff to pop off. I'm just ready. Let's do this. We're not going to be here long. That's fine. And then he kind of goes, well, maybe we are going to be here. And then he becomes accepted by Aaron, and he's like, okay, well, maybe these people aren't that bad.
Yeah,
we can go out and bring people in. And then you see that new mentality kind of come back to bite him.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of huh.
Plus,
okay. You guys are sorry, but no, you're gonna be.
Yeah.
And Daryl did something that I don't think Daryl of 2 or 3 seasons ago would have done, which was when he found that cooler and saw that it was marked insulin. He actually went back and was like, here, y'all are going to need this.
Yeah.
And I like that little bit of, what do you got on you? Just give me something. Make this worth my time.
Yeah.
That's old Daryl. You know what? I did something nice for you, but you're going to make it worth my time because I could be back safe. I could be on my way back home.
Yeah.
Just give me something. Give me what you got. And he took whatever they had just because he's just like, I still kind of have to maintain that, like, I will still kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that I had a few people who I'm friends with on Facebook and, like, social media kind of go, well, nothing was really accomplished with this episode. And it's like, even with these, especially with these slower episodes, you got to have some type of character development. You got to have the motivation because, like I was telling you earlier, I think the second half of season 6, we're not going to have any time for character development.
No.
No.
None.
I don't think it's going to be. I think we're going through all this now. That way, when things start flying all over the place and we lose any idea that there could be peace, we need to get these people all to a certain point before they are tested further.
I mean, realistically, season 6, the first 3 episodes, there was no character development because it was all, oh my god, doo-doo, fan, splat.
Yeah.
And then they took that one episode, which everybody complained about with Morgan and his backstory, but I think that was absolutely necessary, A, to give us a break, and B, because we needed to know how Morgan went from being completely nuts.
And I think it's crazy how people complained, like, oh, man, I can't wait to see what happened to Morgan. I can't wait to see where Morgan's been. What's Morgan been up to? And then we find out, and then everybody's like, man, come on, this is stupid. Like, why are we wasting...
Where's Glenn?
It's just
the
because
whole
of
reason
the
is
Terrell...
because we lost Glenn.
Yeah, it's just because it's the riding off the coattails of Glenn. But I absolutely agree with you guys. Like it is, we need these episodes. And if you can't find that this was a character-driven episode, if you don't think it was a character-driven episode, then it was a set-up plot episode. It was setting up this new group. It was setting up that now they have a truck, so that might actually help with the walkers.
A truck full of fuel.
Yeah.
We need episodes like this and the one with Morgan, and you need the episodes that build character development, because when, a character like Glenn is in a situation where he is, they want you to care.
Yeah.
It's my big problem with Fear the Walking Dead was I didn't care about these characters.
Thank you.
And when you hit...
I never saw the last episode.
And then,
please don't spoil it.
I'm not going to say anything else
Thank
about
you.
it. But it's when you hit Walking Dead, they give you so much time to care about these characters is when you finally lose one. Like even Merle. Who
I love
Michael
Merle.
Rooker was great on Talking
Oh,
Dead.
my God. I love Michael Rooker.
But even his character who has been like... was a racist, was a thief, was a murderer.
Was a jerk.
He was one of the worst people. You still felt like, like not just because of Daryl, but you just like, here's this character that even though all the bad things about him, that one redeeming quality of him going out for his brother made you go, man, that sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he had a certain kind of flavor about him that made him an interesting and fun character to watch on screen.
And if you don't get those character development, those moments of character development or those episodes, then it's just like, oh, they're dead, whatever, who cares? And then, like, there's no investment in the story.
Yeah.
And by contrast, when the governor finally was popped, you felt that sense of, yes, finally, they killed him. If he was just some random nut job who was walking around killing people, and, because, you didn't get, I don't know about you guys, I didn't get that same, yes, he's dead, with Gareth and the Terminites that I did with the governor.
Yeah, I think I did, because they deserved it.
I did because they deserved it, but it wasn't as intense. It was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a massacre. Rick's going to kill him. Yeah, it happened. Woot. All right, good.
Well,
but it wasn't that build that you have when you found somebody who has just done so much and they've hurt so many of your people that it's like, oh, thank God, he's finally dead. It was more of a, yes, bloodbath, woohoo.
Basically.
Well, the governor's interesting, too, just because because I remember there were certain parts with him in character development where I thought he might turn into a good guy. Like when he found his new family and everything, I really thought that there were some moments, like the episode where it followed him, the 2 episodes, I thought he might change and become better.
Yeah.
And become good because now he found something to protect that's worth his time.
And then...
That's the problem with the governor, though. Once he finds something he cares about and feels is worth protecting, he has to go... He can't just go, all right, well, somebody else help take care of me and my family. He has to be the guy who drives, which is why once him and Martinez are on the roof of the RV.
One of my favorite
He has
scenes.
to kill him.
He has to kill him because he doesn't, even if he doesn't want to be in charge, he has to be in charge.
Yeah.
It's not a want, it's a need.
Yeah.
And with like what you were saying about the Terminus, like I knew what their death meant for maybe Rick's character development.
Right.
So when they died, it made, I was like, good, something like has come, even though we didn't get like this, I'm not like, yes, they're dead. It was that, but it was also like, okay, now I know what this is going to mean for the series going forward. It's embracing the willingness to go how far you can go, but you got to be able to come back.
Right.
Yeah.
And these people had obviously got to a point where there was no coming back.
Nope.
Right.
I instantly got what their deal was because, you got all those flashbacks. Yeah, it wasn't drawn out very long.
Right.
But I feel like they got the most out of it that they could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish the Terminites would have stuck around a little bit longer, maybe been a threat a little bit longer. But I just didn't get the same thing, and I think we're going to totally get that with Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Negan portrayal.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to get to the point where we're like, we're going to be like football fans screaming at the TV, just kill him! Oh, come on, you had the chance, kill him!
And if they do it right, which I'm sure they will because it's
Yes.
The Walking Dead, we're going to get that moment of when he's gone. Like, oh, man, that was such a good run. I know people who quit watching The Walking Dead after the governor died because they're just like, it was so good. Like, I don't know how it could get better, and I've encouraged them, like, get back into it. If you like good bad guys,
We got
it's
more on the
coming.
way.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
and I think that's where I think with the Wolves and everything else, they've had to kind of not fluff it up, but they've had to kind of, okay, well, we're introducing this bad guy. He's not going to be long, but we're going to keep your interest. We're going to test this group, because then as soon as we get to the point where, boom, here's Negan.
Yeah.
Now.
And to kind of tie like that thought and everything back into the idea of with these character development episodes, like next week we're going to get, Rick and Morgan are going to sit down and talk about
Probably about the wolf in the basement.
Do you think you can live in this world without getting blood on your hands? It's pulling all these characters to a certain point. That way when Negan or, whatever hits the fan next,
Yeah.
that's the payoff. Because it's not just going to be like, you can't go, okay, Carol is the perfect example of character development. You can't take Carol from season 2 and throw her in the middle of season 5.
Nope.
No.
Because that
would
Carol
not
is
live.
not ready. She needs to go through all this stuff. Everybody needs to go through all these things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point.
Yeah, exactly.
And, something we brought up, and you brought up Morgan, and something we brought up outside of the show, outside of the on-air portion, is, Morgan was crazy when he, went in and attempted to kill poor Tabitha, the goat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
And, Eastman pretty much locked him up and brought him back.
Yeah.
And did almost a complete 180. Morgan was willing to kill anything and anyone that got in his way. Mm-hmm. And he turned him from that to, I will take no life. All life is sacred.
All life is precious.
And I think what's going to happen is Morgan is going to have to figure out a way to balance both of those extremes into all life is precious, but I'm willing to take yours if you try and take mine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Morgan just needs somebody to sit him down and go, dude, you're not Batman. Knock it off. Like,
Carol's Batman, because she gets
Yeah.
she gets a new kid psychic every other season. But no, what I was going to say, and this is kind of going to tie into like what I think that's going to happen next episode is when they did the preview of next episode, there was a point where Rick and Michonne were talking to him, and he goes, "I don't care. This works for me." So it almost seems like the whole "don't kill anybody" is the only thing that's actually stopping him from killing everybody. If that makes sense, it's the only thing. It's the only like little bit of like like he seems like a fish out of water, and he finally has a little bit of water.
He needs to have that moral code.
Coming back, and it works for him. And if they take that away from him, he's just gonna drown.
If you look at if you look at anybody with like post traumatic stress or goes through this like shocking thing in life, whatever pulled them from it is so sacred and important to them. They can't imagine letting go of it because they know what life was like before.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got that safety net or whatever you want to call it, and he's afraid if he indulges just a little bit, like even if it means his death, like even if he's sitting there, like it would take something pretty drastic, I think, at this point to pull Morgan into killing a person, like. But
like the wolf in the basement getting loose and killing someone,
or somebody else.
It's just I will someone? I do want to point out that he did lock.
Yes, he did.
Like, he made sure he locked that up because I think he even knows.
This guy's nuts.
Yeah.
If I do, I can't trust him like Eastman trusted me.
Yeah, sorry. I was just thinking of what could bring Morgan to the point of switching back to his crazed state. I'm thinking if Judith gets killed.
Maybe.
Ooh.
I mean, we still have a lot to kind of go over.
I'm just saying.
Because they did make a big point of you will hold a baby again. Like, what if that was like making you like? What if? Oh, see.
Oh God, that would be awful. You will hold a baby again, and then the baby will die.
If the wolf somehow gets out, and
he did say, "I will kill your children. I will kill your women. I will kill everybody."
Yeah.
But he specifically mentioned the children.
That's what I was thinking might be the point of driving Morgan completely batcrap again.
I think if the wolf does kill Judith, he'd be, that dude would be lucky if Rick left enough for Morgan to kill.
I was going to say Rick and Carol.
Carl.
Michonne, everybody.
Michonne,
Yeah, but what if they're not around?
See, now
that's the thing.
This would be interesting if they actually did kind of go through with this. And real quick, you're listening to KCFV Ferguson, 89.5 The Wave. This is Dead Air. I'm your host, JazzHandss, and I'm joined with B.A., Paul, and Anna May, and we're talking about last Sunday's Epic Walking Dead episode. So, now back to kind of what I was saying.
And bringing up the baby's death.
Yeah.
Now back to dead babies.
Yeah, back into the dead baby hour. No, we're like, okay, if that actually did happen, it'd be kind of interesting to see if all of a sudden Rick, who has done a really good job leading, all of a sudden his baby dies, and he's just emotional, he's sad.
Rick and Deanna flip places?
Sort of, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if all of a sudden Deanna's like, okay, guys, we're doing this, let's do this, and that's where the two kind of bounce off each other being leaders, and that they need each other.
As great as that would be, I'm also not in a point of wanting to see Crazy Rick again.
Yeah.
Like, right now would not be a good time for Crazy Rick,
No.
It'd probably be a bad thing, because last time we got Crazy Rick, he took a bite out of crime.
Yes.
And that was not good
awesome
for anybody.
No, that was awesome, though.
Yeah.
One thing that was interesting, and we alluded to this in the episode where the wolves attacked, about how Morgan and Carol were going were going perpendicular.
Yeah.
And then they ended up walking the same direction, or the same line, but opposite directions.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if basically Carol decides, okay, you know what? I'm going to stick by Morgan, and what he refuses to kill,
I will.
They can learn something.
So
from
she
each other.
kind of
That'd be an awesome cop drama. He doesn't kill, she does.
But not just that, but almost that yin and yang. Morgan is all life is precious. Carol is I kill when I need to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, if Morgan can handle it, great. If it needs to die, there's Carol. Pop, pop, done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if that's going to be kind of the symbolism behind that whole. They come from different paths and then they end up going opposite ways on the same path. Is that Morgan's going to continue with his thing, Carol's going to continue with hers, but if need be, Morgan might, kind of rein Carol in. Nope, we don't need to kill this person. But when it does come down to, you need to die, and I think all life is precious, so today's your lucky day. Unfortunately, she's standing right next to me, and she believes that's a bunch of horse crap.
Oh, yeah, because I thought that was going to happen within the episode, that Morgan was actually talking with where, you know, after the wolf said all that stuff, Morgan said, you know, all life is precious. I really thought Carol was going to come from behind the corner and just, you know, shoot the guy.
Yours isn't.
Yeah. So I mean,
I would have stood and applauded the TV at that point. That would have gotten a standing ovation.
I thought something like that did happen. I thought it was like it was him, Morgan, Gabriel, and someone else, and Carol came up behind and popped him.
Yeah, it was the one that they call. I thought she was going to do it again, and I thought it was going to be because I thought he was going to do the kind of Batman thing where he said, you know, oh, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's when Carol was going to end. But I mean, I think we kind of covered all that we need to, and I have some very actually interesting news. It's kind of speculation. We don't know quite yet, but I mean, it's been a heavy Negan episode, which I absolutely love. Apparently, there's been a leak circling the internet, going around online, of a supposed Negan recording, or somebody recording Negan, and it looks like a scene that a lot of people have been wanting from the comic books. We don't know if it's Glenn or not. We can't see, but I saw it.
Negan beat the snot out of somebody.
And it looked like the camera was at a first-person kind of perspective.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I think I think we're going to be getting into Negan. People are speculating that it might be at the end of the season, so it might be the last scene for season 6 could possibly be Negan, like, bashing somebody in over the head and then saying one line like, you're all mine now, or something, and then hitting again, and that's where season 6 is going to end.
I think they're going to bring Negan in prior to the end of season 6. I think it's going to be the tail end, but I think they're going to bring Negan in maybe like episode 14 would be my prediction. 14, you get to see Negan. I can agree with you, the bashing. I could see that being the final scene of season 6.
Yeah.
Where he just basically, like he did in the comics, he's like, okay, you, whap, and, you know, 1, 2, and then the third hit, the camera just goes black, and then it just, next week's Walking Dead.
Either next week's
or, next season on The Walking Dead.
Yeah. It wouldn't even just be that. It'd be do, and then it'd just be done, and then we get into Talking Dead, or...
That's going to be a great opening for that episode of Talking Dead. Hardwick's like, I don't know what to do. What do I say?
I'm not even sure. Somebody died, and it's horrible.
Then they just cut to the theme song and the opening graphic. They
come back. God.
He comes back. I managed to find my chair, but I don't know what to do.
And I mean, there's been speculation on who we think maybe it might be. Now, you said a good one, B.A.
I've talked a lot today. I don't remember.
You said that Negan might be going. We're wrapping up. We're quickly wrapping up. But this is just one little thing about who maybe is getting axed off later this season. If it's Glenn, if Glenn somehow survived, but then runs into Negan, and that's how that ends. I think a lot of people are going to kind of be pissed off.
Yeah.
With that, you know, it's like you survived this, but then you can't survive that. So
he'd do a Beth.
I'm almost wondering if it's maybe Morgan. Maybe Daryl, like you said, maybe Maggie.
Yeah, that'd be really messed up, though.
I
would actually be upset because that would bum me out greatly.
Yeah. Or
I was thinking Abraham.
Maybe Abraham, or maybe Carol.
Oh, dude! If Carol dies, we riot.
Seriously.
No, we won't.
Yes.
We'll be like, oh man, Carol died. What's going to happen next?
No. We'll riot because who's going to bake cookies and shoot people in the head when they're cooking
and scare little children?
Well, I mean, Daryl could do it. We don't know how good of a cook Daryl is.
I would trust Aaron and Eric to cook better, more than Daryl, because Daryl. I mean, let's face it.
What if it's Aaron?
Oh,
that's true
too. That would suck. Or worse yet, Eric.
Oh no!
Because that might make Aaron snap.
Yeah, it could even be Sasha. Like it's so...
It could be anyone.
We're not sure.
It could be Judith. Oh God! See, now I'm going back to the baby again.
What's
wrong with me?
This is where I think Negan. Like, I can't wait because like just the speculation and then the war and then the this big drawn out character of what's right, what's wrong. It's going to be amazing. But I mean, thanks everybody for tuning in. I think that wraps it all up.
The one thing to add to that is, if you're listening and you haven't read the comic books and you don't know anything about Negan, the fact that we're saying anywhere from grizzled soldier to
Babies.
kamikaze ninja housewife to pacifist to babies as to who this bad guy could bash in with a baseball bat should give you a clue as to how bad this guy really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Watch the first scene. He actually comes up and he's like, "Hi, how's everybody doing? My name is Negan. It's a pleasure to meet."
I
he's just
baked you a
total
tray of
different.
cookies.
Yeah.
Just let you know.
Poison.
Just let you know. You're probably all going to die by my hand. I'm sorry. It's just the way it's going to be. That is a nice shirt. I really like that shirt.
And I
but
want it.
anyway, just let you know I'm here. I'm around. Don't know when you'll see me. You'll never see it coming.
Oh.
But I just let you know I'm here.
Can you fill out these forms to let us know how well we killed you? I mean, it helped us greatly. It'll help. We'll get an idea of what's
And
going
also,
on.
if you turn it in, you have a chance to win a gift card valued up to $100. There's a lot in it for you, but just in case.
At Negan Mart.
I
either
like
way-
this Negan. I like this Negan.
Either way, I'm here. This is my baseball bat.
Negan Nards.
I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun. Hey,
hope you
Glenn.
guys-
Huh?
Hope you guys have a great day. And he takes it, he spray paints a big smiley face on the wall of Alexandria.
Happy face, his stamp of approval.
And then takes red spray paint and does the bullet hole in the middle of it as a callback to the comedian.
Oh, there we go. There we go. But
All right.
I think that's enough from
We're
us.
done. We're done.
So
We're
thanks
slap
everybody
happy.
so much for tuning in. I had a blast and I can't wait. The season's picking up and I'm
Two more
excited.
episodes.
Two more episodes. So
And then we wait.
and yeah, stupid old Christmas. but
Whoa,
thanks,
don't say that.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I had a blast and we will see all of you next week. Bye everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.